for guitar's amazing origin. So at Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens in Charleston, South Carolina, USA. Let's go check it out.
And when that ship got to this Charleston port, they got dropped off in two areas. One in downtown Charleston, there was a place that was once called Gadsden's Wharf on the waterfront. Well, on that Gadsden's Wharf today sits our newly opened International African American Museum. And that particular wharf has seen over some 200,000 slaves come through. And over here on Sullivan's Island, just a few miles.
To set up a basket stand on Highway 17. Yet, as many Southern stories go, there is always another individual that is said to come before. We're not sure who may have been the very first, but Miss Sweden is believed to be one of the first. The purchase of baskets by individuals for personal use. In 1997, a historical marker was constructed to commemorate the legacy and history of sweet grass baskets and the individual that made them. This marker can be seen at the intersection of Carolina Boone and Highway 17 in the 7-mile section of Mount Pleasant. This particular area is said to be the site of the first basket stand. A large portion of Highway 17 is now appropriately called the Sweetgrass Basket Highway. This craft, its stories, and its legacy continue and will endure for generations to come, just as it has come from its African roots to present day. The use of these baskets may have slightly changed, but its skill and its origins have not. Please take a look at the variety of baskets on display here in this very cabin and take some time.
Are rooted. They probably actually broke. But it's metal. This thing is metal. Bottle trees are rooted in willow and Africa. tradition thought to protect the home and garden from traveling evil spirits by trapping them inside these colorful bottles. Oh, I know. Oh, this is a chamber pot. This is a chamber pot. Chamber pot. Where's the chamber pot?
You know, they need the floorboards to be that good.
Let's see why.
Growth of agriculture and the Industrial Revolution, the business of slavery grew and became crucial to the Southern economy. With cash crops such as cotton, rice,
Americans with 6 to 10 weeks dehumanized the transatlantic journey to America, usually followed by the end of the sale of the functions. The slave was considered valuable property and could be bought and sold at any time in the church. Used most abundantly in the South, slaves were forced to do jobs on plantations that no one else would do. Since the master owned the slaves, they were not paid. On plantations such as Boone Hall, there were 2 general ways a slave would work. Either a gang or to a criminal in the 54th regiment that on July 18th recruited the North Oakland success. It is, however, to be noted that there were blacks in the Better Army as well, even though it was not legal to have colored units until 1865, when it is today. On February 15, 1865, the first Indian treaty with Charleston was the 21st United States colored agency. Colonel Charles Fox, District of Massachusetts, was called. Well, was given to a regiment of colored troops by this neighborhood Pennsylvania. Shouts, prayers, and blessings resounded. All felt that the hardships and dangers of the sea were white inhabitants left the town moving to walk very different. Generally remained in the house as it was happening with the family. Negroes had been freed from the bonds of slavery and had experienced advancements made during the Reconstruction period. They had now advanced from freedmen to citizens.
Boone Hall Plantation majestically stands here today as a representation of Southern aristocracy from before the establishment of America as a country, through the times and trials of America's independence, into the internal conflict of the Civil War and the struggles following into the 20th century. Over the last 300 years, Boone Hall's original slave cabins modestly stand as they were built over 200 years ago with the labor of the people upon which this country was built. Their unique existence parallels the humble beginnings of the people.
It's like a big house. It's a big house.
Like the alligator.
Yeah. Mom, make sure.
Up here to your left is a southern magnolia tree that was planted in 1996 in remembrance of one of the owners who had passed away. You get some really nice spring blooms begin to pop out on these. Oak tree up ahead, tucked back in the corner behind the green sign on the bench. That's the oldest tree on the property. This one's about 650 years old and it's got a circumference of right around 20 feet. The one with the big branch coming out into the yard is called the wedding tree. We see a lot of wedding proposals take place in front of that tree. And this water, which will be to your left, is a tidal creek. You'll notice that the tide's really low right now, so you see all the pluff mud down in there. I'm sure you can smell it too. If you look at the flow of the water, the tide is still going out, so it's not even as low as it's going to get. This is called Boone Hall Creek, and it's a salty, brackish water, so we've got lots of fish, shrimp, oysters, and crab out here in this water. And up until 1929, this was your highway. There were no roads or bridges to get you from Mount Pleasant to downtown Charleston. Only way to get downtown was by water. This Boone Hall Creek takes you to Wampachine Creek to get you over to the Wando River, and then that carries you to the Copa River to get you downtown. So it's about 8 miles by water. What's now a 15 to 20 minute drive could take you up to 6 hours in those old flat bottom boats, depending on the tides. And if you see the marsh grass out here, usually around mid-late September when the weather begins to cool down, it starts to turn yellow. Now that we're in spring, it's getting back to its
Don't believe so.
40% of the bricks built Fort Sumter came from this property, as well as all the bricks that built the Exchange Building. The Horlbecks grew this property from 470 acres to over 4,000 acres. We're going to be riding right by a neighborhood that used to be part of this property until around 40 years ago, called Brickyard Plantation. In the back of the neighborhood is one of the original kilns that the enslaved people would use to bake the clay to make the bricks. And these kilns were all built in the 1850s. In this field over here, the first half back there was buckwheat, and then in this part of the field, we've got some wild clover side of the property. So they stay away from the good stuff on the other side of the property. I have seen a few in here, so I take that as a good sign. So we'll see what happens there. And we're about to ride right by a few houses, so I'm just going to lower my microphone for about a minute or so as we go through this quiet zone. You can see as far as you can see in every direction. At its height, they had over 1,000 acres of cotton fields on this property. They started growing cotton in 1790, shortly after Eli Whitney patented the cotton gin in 1793. Continued growing cotton until 1873. This was the year that we had a major market crash. The price of cotton plummeted from 38 cents a pound down to 3 cents a pound. So a 500-pound bale of cotton would get you around $15, and it cost more to make that and produce it than what they're getting out of it, so the cotton phased out in the 1870s. We do still grow cotton out here, always in this field up here to your left, planted around 8 months ago. Got about a half acre right here, and it's really just used for our guests to see and for educational purposes. So on a normal school year, we'll have 10 to 12,000 kids to come out here for field trips during the course of the year. The cotton's part of their project to work on. The Charleston area is a great climate to grow cotton because you need at least 200 consecutive days without frost. The structure over here to the left is a lookout tower. They used to do Civil War reenactments in this field to the right up until almost 9 years ago, although there was never any actual battle on this property during the Civil War. The Battle of Secession built that they'll reenact, which took place over in James Island on the other side of town. The white boxes behind the cotton, a few of our beehives. We've got 26 beehives on the property, all to help pollinate our crops. We also make our own honey. Unfortunately, it won't be ready for where Halle Berry got her acting debut. Another feature of the fall festival is this field to the right. Each July they'll plant some corn, and then in mid-September, using GPS-operated tractors to cut out a corn maze. Annually, it's an 8-acre corn maze, and each year it has a different sponsor. In the past, we've had Boeing, the Susan B. Komen Foundation.